morning, everyone. My name is Gianfranco Baldini. I'm from the University of Bologna, and I'm a member of the executive committee of the ECPR. So it's a pleasure for me to introduce you the 2024 winner of the Rising Star Award, which has been given to Luis Schenoni of UCL, London. And in this brief introduction, I will touch upon 3 points, what this prize is, how we made up the jury and how we worked, and briefly I will introduce the winner, then passing on to the nominator and then to the winner himself, of course. So the Rising Star Award was established by the ECPR in 2020, so it's a rather recent prize, and it was set up to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the establishment of the ECPR itself. And this specific prize aims to recognize the achievement of an outstanding PhD student or early career researcher in their scholarly life so far, and provide them with the opportunity to develop their network and skill even further with the ECPR support. So the award is then rather recent, but it's a very important one because the ECPR will prize a lot the idea of setting up a community of young scholars. And the prize is given not just to a brilliant researcher, it's also given to someone who is proving to have a very strong academic activism, as well as having a good social engagement in terms of outreach of their research. So as I was asked to chair this jury, I selected members of the jury from our official representatives of ECPR members institutions. And in selecting members, I decided to prize some criteria, which are the following: gender balance. I wanted to ensure, of course, to have subdiscipline expertise. So I selected colleagues from comparative politics, international relations, public policy, political theory, as well as gender balance. So this led me to select, and that was really significantly helped, and I thank them again, Slot Boda from Center for Social Sciences in Hungary, Meta Novak from Ljubljana University, and Natasha Verena Zaum from Leuphana University in Lüneburg, and Amelia Hadfield from University of Surrey. So together with them, we selected our procedure and we conducted our work in last autumn. And we received as many as 22 applications. Well, you know, some of them were good, others were very good, others were excellent. So this was a pleasant work, I have to say, because we were able to see very different profiles and very promising young scholars. So it was really a very nice effort. And in my efforts as jury chair, I was selecting a procedure to have blind judgment by all the 5 jurors. So I've asked them to send individually the 3 best shortlisted candidates. I did myself the same procedure, and ultimately we ended up, and this was very, good also, having Luis as the only candidate who had been shortlisted by the 5 of us. So this made our work easier in many ways, even if we had many other brilliant candidates. So there were others who were indicated by 4 or 3, and so we had a very good runner-up also, and we mentioned this in our laudatio, and the runner-up was Dieter Stiers, and so he has also an honorable mention. So without further ado, I would then like to introduce briefly the profile of Luis Schenoni. Luis obtained his PhD from the University of Notre Dame in 2021. He then moved to Constance for his postdoctoral fellowship. And then he has been in University College London since 2022, where he's now an associate professor and director of the Security Studies program in the Department of Political Science. Luis mainly works on Latin America. He has already published a very interesting book, which is called Bringing War Back In, Victory, Defeat, and State in 19th Century Latin America by Cambridge University Press. More than 20 journal articles in very prestigious outlets such as the American Journal of Political Science, International Studies Quarterly, and many, many others. So he has already made a significant contribution to the discipline, and that's why we all appreciated his profile. And he has also an extensive commitment as a teacher, as well as a very good social engagement. So these were the reasons which led us to select him as the winner of this prize. So without further ado, I will pass on first to Benjamin Lauderale as the nominator, and then last but not least, of course, to Luis himself. Thank you.
Thank you, Gianfranco. I was very happy to be able to nominate my colleague, Luis Schenoni, for the ECPR Rising Star Award this year, and even more delighted that he won the award. I've known Luis since he joined the Department of Political Science at University College London in January 2022, where I've been head of department since shortly before he arrived. Luis arrived at UCL having completed his PhD at Notre Dame in the US and having held a postdoctoral fellowship at Constance. In the short time since his arrival, he's demonstrated tremendous energy and initiative in his work at UCL. So not only in his research, but also in all the other areas of his work. This includes his teaching and engagement with our students across undergraduate, master's, and PhD levels. It also includes his truly impressive international network building and engagement beyond academic audiences. So just as his achievements have been recognized with this award, they've also been recognized within UCL with his promotion to associate professor last year. The Rising Star Award recognizes a range of kinds of achievement that Luis has had as an early career scholar, but I would be remiss if I didn't focus my attention on his research achievements, and in particular his recently published book. So Lewis's book, Bringing War Back In, Victory, Defeat, and the State in 19th Century Latin America, demonstrates how war played a major role in the formation of state institutions in Latin America. This is a region long viewed as an exception to bellicist theories about the role of conflict in state development. Lewis's book, though, sheds light on the origins of the kind of institutions that provide public goods and ultimately drive development. These questions about the origin of state institutions remain highly relevant today, and Lewis's book has been praised by a number of high-profile scholars working on questions of institutional development, including the recent economics Nobel Prize winner James Robinson. More generally, Lewis's book has been incredibly well received by scholars working in a range of related areas. So to mention a few, James Mahoney from Northwestern University, a leading comparative historical sociologist of Latin American development, called the book a modern-day comparative historical masterpiece. Miguel Centeno from Princeton University, a leading scholar of the study of the state in Latin America, called the book Brilliant Analysis. Stathis Kalyvas called Lewis's book the best social science work I've read in some time. And Victoria Hui, a student of Charles Tilly, known for showing how similar theory applies to China, called it the most ambitious work on state formation to date. I could list a number of additional endorsers here, but rather than do that, I think I should hand over to Luis himself to talk about his outstanding work.
Thank you so much, Gianfranco and Ben, for this great honor, especially because Rising Star Award just sounds great, really, as an award. As my girlfriend was telling me yesterday, it sounds like I'm going places. But honestly, it's very humbling to receive this award, in particular, given the sheer number of brilliant early career scholars that we have in our department alone, not to mention across all ECPR institutions. I have, of course, a long list of acknowledgements. I was extremely lucky to be trained by exceptional scholars at Universidad Católica Argentina and Universidad Torcuato Di Tella in Buenos Aires, and then at the University of Notre Dame, where I did my PhD. As you might know, the Notre Dame is home to the Kellogg Institute for International Studies, which was founded by another Argentinian like myself, Guillermo O'Donnell, who led the institute for many, many years and was a leading scholar in the study of the state in Latin America. So it was a real blessing to be able to study there and work by the side of people like Scott Mainwaring or Michael Coppedge, Aníbal Pérez-Liñán, Victoria Hui, some other people. The list is enormous. So I have to thank all of these people. I was also very fortunate to work with Gary Gertz as my advisor, who was a great mind in the multi-method research, and also along with Jim Mahoney and Miguel Centeno, and brilliant comparative historical sociologists that have shaped the way I think about development in Latin America, as well as other people that, as I was working on this book, also engaged a lot with the argument, and I come to know more, like Jim Robinson, Stathis Kalyvas, people that were mentioned before. So I'm very lucky to be part of, I think, a very strong community of people thinking deeply about these topics, and that was a real blessing in my career. I also have to thank in Europe, in particular, the University of Constance and a lot of people there, and of course, University College London, the person of Ben in particular here. Thank you, Ben, for the incredible environment that we have at UCL and the joy that it is to work with our colleagues over there. And of course, my family, I would like to thank my mother, Graciela, and my father, Luis Eduardo, and my brother, Mariano, who are still in Buenos Aires and suffered, me leaving, missing all of the asados and the nice Sundays with the family. But we're always very supportive of my career. So if they're watching this video at some point, I would like to thank them. So yes, I'm absolutely delighted to receive this award. I hope I can live up to the expectations of a rising star. And I guess I'm expected to say something substantive, and some people say something about the state of the world now, how we can contribute to politics from academia or something like that. But given the state of the world, I'd rather just be oblivious to that for a second. And since I feel like I'm passing the torch to the next awardee, some of the purpose of these awards in general is to inspire new people that will come after. So I was thinking maybe I will try to say a few things to the next scholar, perhaps coming from the peripheries of Europe or Latin America, or some that maybe see this award as something very far away, and maybe some words that could inspire how to address their work in the future. Things that perhaps I've learned through working for this book or my career that are kind of important, at least to me. So 3 things I would mention. One is, I think we should ask big questions in political science, in particular, if you're not in a so well-known institution or in a peripheral country. It's often the case that we think we cannot really contribute to these big questions regarding, for example, the origin of the modern state in an entire region or something like that. Even if you're in a top school, almost everywhere we're under pressure to publish or perish, and this often means that we ask short-term, small questions with single methods. But there are big, important questions out there that require to be answered, and good research. This is not a claim for vagueness. I think like good research has to be sharp and focused, but build perhaps in the direction of answering a big question. The second thing that I would like to say to this future winner of this prize is that I think we shouldn't be part of tribes. People in political science often tend to specialize to do their survey experiments or causal inference designs or archival work, or some people do political theory and don't engage with other people in the department. Stuff like that might sometimes happen. And it's good to specialize, but I think we should be more in terms of integrating the different approaches. And it's easier to stick with the methodological tribe, but when you engage when you embrace multi-methods, that means that comparative historical sociologists like Centeno or Mahoney will read your work and engage with it, but also some other people like Jim Robinson, like are economists, and like formalizing your theories or doing causal inference stuff, they will also engage with your work as well. So that's another thing. And finally, I think we should be universalists, as in opposition to particularists. Some people carve a space for whatever they're trying to study, and sometimes chop reality to come up with a theory for something very specific. For example, in Latin America, many people might come up with theories that explain Latin America as if it was a unique place, or as if it had unique problems. So I think that is the wrong approach in general. I think we should identify the big theories out there that apply to humankind in general, and try to contribute to those general theories from the place where research is coming from, be it geographic or historical or theoretical or methodological and whatever. So I think it speaks volumes about the universalistic view of European academia that ECPR holds, that they would grant this honor to an Argentinian working on Latin America. I hope this work can also illuminate how Europeanists think of Europe and state building in Europe as well. And that would be all from me. Thank you again for this great honor.
Well, thank you very much, Ben and Luis, of course. I think I really sympathize with your 3 points, Luis, because they all were part also of our reflection in the jury to select you as the winner. Because I agree with the fact that political science needs to adapt to challenging times, and changing and challenging times, especially as we are now. And so finding big questions, not closing up in tribes, and being universalist are just three important keywords and elements of reflection that I completely sympathize with. So this is a further testimony to the richness of your approach, and to the idea that you're already leading in many ways in finding a place for yourself in the discipline, and of course having some good comparative work, which should be inspiring especially for the youngs who are approaching the discipline in the recent times as young PhD scholars, but as a more important reflection for a discipline as a whole. So prizes are important for ECPR, and there are a number of them which are publicized in our website. So as a final word, I would like to thank you again. I mean, all those who participated in and sent their application to the Rising Star Awards, of course, all the colleagues who helped me significantly in identifying winners and in doing a proper job inside the jury, and as well as thanking all of you who are watching this video, which again is a way to celebrate a young scholar who is already having a strong impact in the discipline. So please be in contact with the ECPR, and stay tuned on all the initiatives that we are having for strengthening the discipline, also, as you said, Luis, beyond Europe. Thank you.